Hello and welcome to Potterwatch from Page to Screen, episode 12. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Lucy.
Today
and
we'll
I have a cold today.
Pardon?
And I have a cold today.
Yeah. So Lucy
okay.
might sound a little bit stuffy today.
Ropey.
Yeah. Today we'll be playing some chess, which I hate chess, and but not this chess.
You know?
You've never played chess?
Well, not properly.
Oh, okay.
I always go for like checkers. What's it called? Drafts.
Oh yeah.
With the little
Yeah. I like that much better than chess. I'm really awful at chess. My dad used to try and teach me, and I just got really frustrated. And I played one game with Roman, and I got really angry with him because I thought that he was going too easy on me.
Oh.
And I got really angry with him, and things got really awkward because it was still quite early in our relationship. And we've literally never played chess again. But yeah, we'll be playing some chess with Harry, Ron and Hermione, which is much nicer. And finally coming face to face with Snape, maybe? I think, possibly.
Last time we decided to finally go through the trapdoor and we faced off against some deadly plants and flying keys. But before we begin, let's have our questions from the sorting hat. Today, Elizabeth will have the Harry Potter question and mine will be completely random. So I suppose we should start with mine.
Woohoo!
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, okay, this is... I feel like I should have saved this for a shorter episode because I feel like this could... Well, I don't know. Have you seen all the Marvel movies?
Yes, but I'm not sure how good my memory is, but yes, I have.
Okay, well, it's a pretty... Okay, my question is, which of the Infinity Stones would you most like to possess?
Oh, can you remind me what they are?
Let me Google them before I make a fool of myself.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's power, time, mind, soul, spirit, and what have I missed? Have I missed one? Yeah, did I say space?
Oh no, you didn't say space, I don't
Okay, so yeah, space, mind, reality, power, time, and soul.
Oh.
And they pretty much just do what they say on the tin.
Yeah.
Soul is like life and death.
Yeah.
And then yeah, space is moving in space. Mind is like telepathy, mind control. Reality is changing people's perceptions of reality. Power Stone just gives you power. It's the one from Guardians of the Galaxy. Time Stone is time travel.
I'm gonna look up more about the Soul Stone because that sounds interesting.
Soul Stone basically is like you can like I don't know if it makes you immortal or if you the guy on the death cliff. I'm not very well versed in Marvel movies, so as you may be able to tell. But I think he has the Soul Stone.
Oh right, when is it Black Widow and the other guy?
Yeah, that's where they.
Oh, Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, I have a pretty. For me, it's definitely between time and space.
Doctor Who.
For sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think space would be a really cool one.
Yeah, that would be the most useful in like boring everyday life.
Yeah, or like going on holiday, you could just be like, right,
yeah,
let's go to China. Click.
Yeah, exactly.
Or could you like move like, could you like warp space as well? So could you like say, oh, I really like this part of Rome. I'm gonna make it into my back garden and just like
I don't
move that piece of space into a different piece of space.
The space stone is the one that's in the Tesseract.
Okay.
I think it's just that you can move in space.
Okay.
I'd probably go time, just because time is like my favourite sci-fi convention ever.
Yeah.
So that's probably a pretty safe bet for me.
That would be a really cool one as well. and you'd learn a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we know so little about time travel because it's just not conceivable.
Right.
Like I started watching that episode of Goblet and
Oh
Wine.
yeah.
I haven't finished it. I've barely gotten through the start, but it was so interesting, and I didn't realize that there was like, I think we did touch on this either in our last conversation or in our last podcast about like closed loop and open loop,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize how in depth it goes.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool.
If anyone is listening who has any kind of interest in Harry Potter or time travel, I would highly recommend the episode of Goblet of Wine of the last episode of the Prisoner of Azkaban is really interesting.
I think it's episode 33 overall.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that. But you'll probably be safe around there. But yeah, it's really good. They get like this guy who's completely nerdy / an expert on sci-fi time travel.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Definitely recommend
So
it.
that sounds cool. But I think if I had the time stone, it would be quite dangerous in my hands, because I would be constantly going back, and
Right.
I'm constantly like, my biggest thing when I'm going to sleep is worrying about what I've said, what I've done.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Currently, I've sent some messages in my I've got a WhatsApp chat with just my brothers, called Siblings, and I've sent some messages and they haven't replied for a while because they don't often check WhatsApp. And I know this, but every time I go to sleep now, I'm like, when are they going to reply? Are they mad at me?
Yeah.
Even though I've not said anything wrong. So yeah, that's my biggest thing.
So are you going soul?
I think I would go space actually, because the soul,
Right. I feel like
it's
that's
a bit,
too much power.
yeah, and like I'm less concerned about eternity, like living forever. Like, I wouldn't want to live forever, because then I'd just watch all of my friends and family die.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be very nice.
Reality would be cool though. That's like that character in Strange Things that everyone hates.
I can't quite think who you mean.
The you know that episode where it's like a random tangent, episode 7 of series 2.
Oh, the one that everyone hates, that's just Elle. Yeah.
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 That was actually quite cool, but just executed very strangely. Anyway.
Yeah, I liked it. It was just, it should have been like a special episode or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, so I think I would go with space. I would really like,
Nice.
one of my things, that like, if somebody says, oh, what superpower would you like? I would probably say teleportation, or like
I think
avatar powers, which is basically for me
all
like
of them.
the airbender ones are the most what's
Appealing?
the word? Appealing, yeah, because he can move around fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
That was a good question.
There we go.
Were you about to ask something?
I was just going to ask if you've seen Shazam.
Oh no, but I really want to. Is it good?
We watched it the other day. I was pleasantly surprised with how like above average it was. I was expecting it to be very like mediocre.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case with a lot of people. I was like, this looks bad, but I have a feeling it would be really good.
Yeah, I did really enjoy it.
Okay, maybe I'll. I don't know how I'd watch it.
Yeah, we have it on Now TV. I don't know if there's anywhere.
We don't have Now TV.
Like, yeah, I'm not sure, but if you ever see it somewhere, I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Shall we have a Harry Potter question?
Oh, let's go.
This is loosely related to Harry Potter.
Okay.
So it's, would you rather only be allowed to buy chocolate frogs at the studio tour, or only be allowed to buy anything but chocolate frogs?
Oh.
So like, be confined to chocolate frogs, or not be allowed to buy them at all?
Is this just at the studio tour or any official Harry Potter merchandise?
Like the studio tour and the online studio tour shop. But like if you went on Etsy and did like
No, but could I go to like the Up from 9 3/4 shop, or is it like all official Harry Potter merchandise I can only buy chocolate frogs?
I don't know. I haven't thought
Sorry,
this
I'm
far.
really bad at would you rathers of like asking for way too much context than needs to be given.
Well, it's a good point,
Let's say all
Yeah.
official Harry
Yeah.
Potter merchandise. I know my answer. It's going to be chocolate frogs. I don't
Yeah.
really buy any official Harry Potter
Yeah.
merchandise anyway. They're kind of cheap in relation to everything else.
I
And
would
I
actually welcome the restriction
yeah,
because I'm
no,
always
absolutely.
like tempted to buy like useless junk that I never look at.
Hmm.
Like, I love the Studio Tour merch. Like, please sponsor us. I would love to be sponsored by no one else other than Studio Tour
Hmm.
or Warner Bros. Or whatever.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
would be amazing. And I love all the merch, but because I'm a married lady, um, and my husband, like, his aesthetic isn't Harry Potter,
Hmm.
so I
What?
can't,
What
yeah,
weirdo?
um, I can't display any of my stuff
Yeah, yeah.
apart from on Halloween when actually I don't display any of my stuff on Halloween anyway.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's really awkward now. It was great when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Um, that's why I really want to collect my own set of robes. So
Hmm.
like when we go to the studio tour, I can like waltz around in my robes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but that's it. So
The
yeah,
thing
I
is, as
think I
well, I
would.
feel like a lot of the branded Harry Potter merchandise
Mhm.
is not the type of this type of Harry Potter. I feel like I've mentioned this before, but the type of
Yeah.
Harry Potter stuff I like is stuff that feels like it could exist
Yes.
within the universe, which
Yeah.
almost always isn't official. Because if it has a
Yeah.
big Harry Potter logo,
Mhm.
it just doesn't,
That's why I
it
like
doesn't fit with that.
I I usually get a chocolate frog and another
Hmm.
different edible item every time
Yeah.
because the edible items.
The way you're calling it edible item sounds like you're doing drugs at the studio tour.
Oh, okay, the consumables.
Consumables. I don't know if that's
The
much better, but
okay, the
anyway,
the
yeah,
honeydukes
yeah, yeah, yeah.
items, and like the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes
Hmm.
items, and
Yeah,
like they have like the Quibbler
yeah. Oh,
things.
you know what? Now we're talking about merchandise. I do really fancy myself a Aragog plushie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I've already had my eye on him for a while.
yeah. You should save up. I've got like a
Maybe.
little
I have no
space
money.
in my bank account. I never well, I
I
just
need
do
to.
like
Yeah.
£5 a month, save up.
Mm.
Yeah. So
But yeah,
I'm
definitely, without a doubt, chocolate
yeah.
frogs.
Okay, to answer that question without going on another tangent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I
Hmm.
was like, why am I even writing this question? It's so obvious. But I feel like it wouldn't be obvious for other people.
Mm.
So yeah, if you're listening and you
Or
disagree, argue.
maybe
Like, tell us your opinions.
if there's something that's like your favorite thing, like, oh, I always get, I don't know, I'm sure there are people who
Like, I
like
get a
always get
wand
some
every
other
time,
specific
or
thing. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
I wish I was rich enough to get a wand
I
every time.
know. Yeah, I mean, I felt like I had to save up for like a year to get
Yeah,
my
for
H
my
jumper.
one wand. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was like that was
That's an
so
investment piece.
expensive. Yeah, I felt really weird, like, because do you remember when I bought it, I had to like rush in, because
Hmm.
we were like really close to our time. I had to rush in, get it, rush out, and I was like, I've literally just spent £60 like on a whim. Like, I
Yeah.
usually have time to think about it.
Hmm.
But yeah, not
Mm.
I don't regret that. That was a good buy. Although semi-regret because it's super itchy, but never mind.
Mm. Nice.
Anyway, I'm glad we agree.
Mm.
This is why I like this is why I like having you as a best friend because we agree on so many things, but we disagree on other things, and it's nice to like both understand each other and have like
Hmm.
um yeah, just creative differences. I don't know.
Difference.
Not creative. I don't
No,
know
I
why I
know.
said that. Like things that we
Discuss.
can, yeah,
If we were the same person, it would just
healthily
be really
discuss.
boring.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah. All right, so
Like your love for Draco.
pardon?
Like your love for Draco. Anyway,
You'll
moving
never
on.
understand me. Okay, so let's move swiftly on to the world's biggest chessboard. So I thought I'd start with a description of the chessboard. So it says, the next chamber was so dark they couldn't see anything at all, but as they stepped into it, light suddenly flooded the room to reveal an astonishing sight. They were standing on the edge of a huge chessboard, behind the black chessmen, which were all taller than they were, and carved from what looked like black stone. Facing them, way across the chamber, were white pieces. Harry, Ron, and Hermione shivered slightly. The towering white chessmen had no faces. So what do you
Oh no.
think? How do you think they did with that?
I mean, it's a chessboard,
It's
isn't
chess,
it?
yeah.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think this is like one of the best book to movie adaptation scenes in the whole series, personally.
Really?
Because yeah, like when you read that, like, oh, it kind of flooded with light, and when they walked in, all of the in the film,
That's
all the
true.
torches lit up and you can hear
That's
the
true.
fire, and the music is really cool.
Yeah,
And they
I do
do,
really love this scene in the film.
yeah.
It's one of the most awkward scenes for their acting, but besides
Well, they're
that,
12 years old.
yeah, it's quite entertaining though as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you want to stop getting that stone on? No.
what is it? Yeah, it's yeah, I think they did a good job.
Yeah.
The
Props
pieces
to the
are really
props.
cool. The like chess pieces are really
They
cool.
are so cool. Do you remember us going to the studio tour for the first time and like
Yes.
seeing, oh
Yes.
no, we didn't go to the first time together, but like seeing the chess
art,
pieces
yeah.
outside. And that's just like, we're not
I
even
have
in
one
there.
of my like favorite and least favorite photos of me is a photo of me probably like 13 years old, like posing with the, like it was like a
Yeah.
selfie of me in my Hufflepuff tie and like greasy hair.
I think I've
posing with the
seen
chess
that
piece.
photo. I think you
You
sent it to
probably
me.
will not be seeing it anytime soon. I was just so and it's like night. I think that was the time we went to McDonald's, and there was that woman
Oh,
with the really
yeah.
nice voice in the drive-through.
Oh, I vaguely recall this, but only vaguely. I was so tired. That was probably one of our 12-hour.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, for those listening, we used to go to the studio tour from 9 till 9, and we would stay for 12 hours,
Yeah, and it
not
wasn't even
including gift
difficult.
shop.
Yeah,
And it wasn't
it
even
wasn't.
what?
It wasn't even difficult. It wasn't like a
Nope, it wasn't
challenge,
like
12-hour challenge. It was, if anything, it was hard to leave after
yeah,
12 hours.
yeah. We were like, we're looking at our watches and we're like, it's 8 o'clock. And we're not through yet. And we were like, what? We thought it was 4. And we'd like not eaten tea yet. We were so hungry.
Oh, that feeling of being like so hungry, so tired, and so happy
Yeah.
in the car on the way home.
I
miss it so
I
much.
miss it so much.
Yeah.
I want to get back in there as soon as
Yeah.
lockdown closes.
Yeah.
But I mean, then we have to book. I just want to go. Anyway.
Yeah.
So they did really well with the chess. They did really well with the chess. So I just thought I'm really nitpicky in these scenes because I think these scenes are the most interesting in terms of like the development of the characters and what they're doing. That is quite like a stressful, like important time. So I thought it was interesting to point out that in the movie they walk across the board to try and get to the door, and the pieces like draw their swords to block the way. But it doesn't happen in the book. Like they immediately know that they're gonna have to play their way across the board. I thought it was nice, like in the movie, to like visually describe it rather than just like say it.
Yeah.
I always
That's
appreciate
something
like
that
explaining it without explaining it.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's another. I feel like I complain a lot about the films not having, like, sucking all the magic out of the books. But I feel like this moment is actually quite a
Yeah,
fun one, in it makes it a little bit more magical than them
yeah,
being like, oh, I guess
yeah,
we've got to play chess.
yeah. So they do guess. That Ron was like, "Oh, it's obvious, isn't it? We've got to play our way across the room," which is taken straight from the book and into the film. Um, but to confirm it in the book, Ron goes up to the night piece and like puts his hand on the horse. I forgot all about this. And the horse like springs to life. Um, and he asks the knight like, "Do we have to join you to get across?" And the Black Knight nods. So I thought that was quite interesting as well, that in the movie they keep still, which is obviously like, well, they just can't do that. Like,
Yeah. Or if they, I'm glad they didn't do that because it would look
it would have
awful.
looked awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I agree. And I think they were more mysterious. Like, it's as we always say, like, it works in the book better, it works in the
Yeah.
film better, because in the film,
Yeah.
like, they're more mysterious and
hmm
daunting.
hmm
Um,
it would look like goofy if
yeah,
they started moving, but like
yeah,
reading it, it doesn't feel as weird
yeah,
because it's just telling you.
because it's in your head.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd have a little read from the book
Ooh.
here. What a treat! So Ron is saying, "Now, don't be offended or anything, but neither of you are that good at chess." "We're not offended," said Harry quickly. "Just tell us what to do." I thought that was quite a nice moment to include, because in the film, it's just like Ron just immediately takes charge.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really cute that he kind of tries to like,
Like checks in.
yeah, check
Yeah.
they're okay.
I like that bit for Harry as well. He's kind of being like, I feel like that is
It's
that
quite a mature thing to,
yeah, and it really shows his character. He's not like trying to be the hero. He's not.
yeah.
He's just like, yep, tell us what to do. We've
You're the
got
best
to.
at chess. It's not all about
Yeah,
me. It's not all about
yeah,
Hermione.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Not
Not
me.
me.
Not
No.
Hermione. Yeah, I'm glad we both thought that. Oh dear.
Yeah, nice.
So in the movie, the spaces that they take on the board are already empty, which I find quite odd, to be honest. Because it's like, how do they know how many people are going to be there anyway? Magic, I guess.
Yeah.
In the book, when Ron tells Harry and Hermione where to go and where Ron himself is going to go, the chess pieces like go off the board to let them take their place. So in the movie, to like, Hermione asks like, "It's not like real wizard's chess, is it?" And Ron kind of sacrifices a piece to see whether or not that is the case. And obviously we know that it is the case. It is real, bleh, it is like real chess.
Babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
um, and I love that bit.
Yeah.
But in the book, he only does that when it's strictly necessary. So I thought I'd read that when that happens. Their first real shock came from when their other knight was taken. The White Queen smashed him to the floor and dragged him off the board, where he lay quite still, face down. So I thought this was quite strange. Like, I get in the film that they have to, like, as I literally just said like 3 seconds ago, that they have to explain things in an interesting way,
Yeah,
but
I
it
really
doesn't
like
make
it.
sense in
No, it
a
doesn't make any
in a
sense.
strategy kind of way. Like, why would you
No.
just like sacrifice one of your
Yeah.
valuable players like that?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense, but I really like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
It's a really
like a
great
fun
moment.
kind of. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And little Emma Watson's acting is so cute.
It's the way she stands with her arms, like she stands like men, like
She's
straight
really tense.
men on the red carpet.
Yeah. Yeah. And
really
she, like, when it
sweet.
like destroys the other pawn, her like looking back like oh dear.
It's so awkward, but so like cute.
It's like so good and so bad at the same time.
Yeah.
So when Ron, so this is towards the end of the game now. So when Ron is thinking about how to win, the Queen in the book, the Queen turns her blank face towards Ron, which obviously doesn't happen in the film, which I thought was quite interesting because I'm a nerd. And because of that, Ron, in the book, Ron says, "Yes, it's the only way. I've got to be taken." Whereas if like answering the Queen, whereas in the film, Harry just kind of guesses that Ron is going to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens a little bit differently. Again, like I really in the film they're always like trying to dumb Ron down, even when it's like Harry is smarter than Ron in the film.
Yeah.
Ron is the stupid one. Like Harry has to be the one that guesses that what even though it's Ron's decision and Ron's playing the game, Harry has to be the one that guesses.
Right.
Which I don't think it makes much sense because Harry sucks at chess.
Yeah.
But anyway,
this is his thing, but yeah.
Pardon?
This is his thing. Like Ron's thing.
Yeah,
but
it's the thing that he does best.
Yeah.
So when Harry and Hermione are like, "Oh no, don't do it," in the book, Ron says, "That's chess. You've got to make some sacrifices." Which I really love that. It's just again, it's just so mature. Like these are 12-year-old children. Like these are children, and they're already ready to do this. Like Ron, for all he knows, he could die here, and he's ready to do it, which is quite crazy.
Yeah, it's quite intense.
Yeah, it is really intense. So, very small difference here, but I just thought I'd mention it. In the film, the Queen like plunges her sword into the horse Ron's riding, and like Ron like screams, it's very dramatic. But in the book, Ron isn't riding a horse, so the Queen just like knocks him out with her arm. I don't know why I'm laughing. Knocked out a 12-year-old. But it is quite a funny visual, isn't it? This huge stone statue just like thumping a boy around the head.
Yeah.
So in the movie, Hermione almost moves from her place, but Harry has to remind her that they're still playing. But in the book, she stands still. I think it's quite an interesting change, but I guess they had to explain why they have to stand still. So.
Yeah, I quite like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Stop! We're still playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like as you say, like the acting is just priceless. Do you know the bit that I mean when I say I really hate Emma's nod in this scene when she like does like a forward nod instead of a vertical nod. If you rewatch the scene, the chess scene, she like does this like
forward nod.
Yeah, she juts her chin forward instead of like bringing her forehead down.
Right.
It's so awkward and it gets me every single time, annoys me every single time. It's like she's trying to swallow something really hard to swallow. It's really annoying. Anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. Really weird tangent.
Book movie differences.
Well, you know,
nod.
When she nods in the book, you can imagine her nodding like a normal person. Sorry, Emma.
That's just how I nod.
So when they win the game, the king in the book, he takes off his crown and like throws it at Harry's feet, but in the film, obviously, as we all can probably imagine, like his hands like stay clasped and then his sword just drops down. And I don't know which I prefer. I think both of them sound really cool.
Well, I think I like as we keep saying,
it works.
The sword thing works because they're all still in the films.
I really like the shot, like you see you're like in between the king and Harry, and you're like, the camera's like almost on the floor, and the sword is like banging off the floor in like slow motion. You can see it vibrate. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Very dramatic.
Yeah.
Then the crown taking off as well. That's cool.
Mm.
I like that it's like, I'm the king and I'm giving you my crown.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah,
It's
that's
cool
true. The
symbolism.
sword isn't as like metaphorical, like it's just a sword.
Yeah. So I thought I'd just read from the book about when they win and when they leave.
Win?
Win? Sorry, I don't know why I'm being so weird.
Making up for my lack of energy, it's fine.
So it says, the chessmen parted and bowed, leaving the door ahead clear. With one last desperate look, sorry, I have to stop from laughing because this is just so harsh. With one last desperate look back at Ron, Harry and Hermione charged through the door and up the next passageway. What if he'll be all right, said Harry, trying to convince himself. I'm like, oh my gosh, they've just left him there. But I mean, Ron says himself earlier, like he was like, "Don't waste any time, just go."
Yeah.
So I'm guessing.
I mean,
it's his last wish. Well, not last because he's not dead, but
yeah.
If they think he's dead, it's his last wish.
It's his last wish. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a task now that not a lot of people really talk about, and we're not really going to talk about it a lot because it's a bit of a non-task.
What?
So they sum up what's about to happen. Say, we've had Sprouts, that was the devil's snare. Flitwick must have put charms on the keys. McGonagall transfigured the chessmen to make them alive. That leaves Quirrell's spell and Snape's. So the next one is Quirrell's. So I just thought the best way to.
I forgot about this one.
Exactly. See,
I
was like, nobody ever remembers.
I was like, what? I love the potions one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Yeah, no, I completely forgot this was even a task.
Exactly.
So right.
This is such a forgotten one because it's just nothing happens.
Yeah.
So it's just very one small paragraph which I thought I'd read. A disgusting smell filled their nostrils, making both of them pull up their robes over their noses. Eyes watering, they saw flat on the floor in front of them a troll even larger than the one they had tackled, out cold with a bloody lump on its head. I'm glad we didn't have to fight that one, Harry whispered as they stepped carefully over its massive legs. Come on, I can't breathe. Everyone always forgets that one.
Yeah.
And obviously Quirrell chose it because he has a special affinity with trolls. So he knew.
It's just the worst.
It's weird. Yeah.
Ever.
It's like, is your wife a troll? Like, do you flirt with trolls? Is that what you mean?
The affinity for trolls is
strange.
Yeah.
But each to their own. So then obviously we get on to the last task. Is this Goblet of Fire? The final task, which is Snape's. So as you said, I know you really love this one. I was almost going to give this one to you, but then you would have like such a massive section. So I have it.
Can we? Hang on, no. I'll say it when you've done your bit. I just
sure?
Have something to say. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hold that thought. Maybe write it down. So when they go into the room, a fire springs up behind them, blocking them from going back, which is purple, and a black fire springs up in front of them, blocking their way ahead. Purple is used a lot in Harry Potter.
Yeah. Purple and green.
Yeah, purple and green. Yeah. They're like the colours you wear if you want to show off that you're a wizard, aren't they? In Muggle.
I think they're two of the colours of the Merlin classes. If that makes sense.
Really?
I think it's like green, purple, and white or something.
Oh, Interesting.
Like Order of Merlin, first, second,
Yeah.
and third class.
Oh, cool.
I think I read that on Pottermore like years ago, so I might have
Mm.
just made it up. But
It's
that sounds,
interesting either way, yeah.
yeah, if that is true.
So, the description of the room is that there was nothing in it apart from a table with seven differently shaped bottles standing on it in a line. 7 green bottles standing on a wall. um, Hermione finds a note as well on the table, which I just thought
Ooh.
I would read the whole thing of because it's so cool. Oh, and I thought I'd show you because my version of the
Oh, it's
book
like the
has, yeah.
fancy
So
one.
this is
Oh,
this is what it looks
so
like.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh.
I do enjoy it. I wonder if that'll be like a special one in the Mina Lima
Oh
book.
no, don't. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Me too. I've decided that I'm going to use just the whole of my January pocket money. Yes, I still get pocket money. Um, Me and my husband both get pocket money, so we don't overspend. I am going to use like my whole January pocket money for that book.
Yeah.
If I don't get it for Christmas. Yeah. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. So, sorry, the note says, danger lies before you, while safety lies behind. 2 of us will help you, whichever you would find. Lucy is having a rap jam. One among us 7.
I
No,
feel
I'm
like I
not
should
going to
be
do
like beatboxing in the background.
Like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme tune comes in the background. One among us 7 will let you move ahead. Another will transport the drinker back instead. 2 among our number hold only nettle wine. 3 of us are killers, waiting hidden in line. Choose unless you wish to stay here forevermore. To help you in your choice, we will give you these clues 4. Firstly, however slyly the poison tries to hide, you will always find some on nettle wine's left side. Second, different are those who stand at either end, but if you would move onwards, neither is your friend. Third, as you see clearly, all are different size. Neither dwarf or giant holds death in their insides. Fourth, the second left and the second on the right are twins once you taste them, though different at first sight. Have you ever
Can
tried to recreate this and do it yourself?
Oh, see, this is what I said I wanted to add, was that this, maybe part of the reason I love this task so much is that it just makes me think of the old Pottermore where you used to go through the stories,
Yes.
and at the end of Philosopher's Stone
You had to do it.
was this, and I've made I think like 7 Pottermore accounts over the years to sort my Hogwarts house, and when you still could do this, I would go through every time just to do this task because I loved it. So
Yeah. I forgot that you could do that on Pottermore. I remember now. It is cool that she includes one that anyone can do. I
Right,
remember
yeah.
in me and my mum, when was it, on Halloween or Christmas? I can't remember, but during a festive period, a festive holiday, me and my mum went to this little cafe that they have in Stratford called Magic Alley. And they have this upstairs bit, and they have themed quizzes, and you it's like a tour of the upstairs, and they do like a quest
Experience.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool, really fun. I'd highly recommend if you live near the area. And we had to do a very similar, they always reference Doctor Who, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, that kind of thing. And we had to do this, but they did a different one, obviously, so we
Right.
couldn't just I
Know
remember.
it.
Yeah. Even though I would never remember. My mum probably would, though.
Probably.
She's much better with remembering things from the books than I am. I'm much better with the movies.
She has a crazy memory for the books.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
It is scary. It's really cool. I admire her so much for how she remembers things in books. Because like I feel like movie memory is so much easier because you hear it and you
You
see
see
it.
it, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, she has what's called synesthesia, so she sees letters in
Right,
color.
right, right.
Um,
Yeah,
I think you know this, right? You
yeah,
knew that already.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember her
Um,
saying that my mum's name was Green, which
oh
makes
yeah,
so much
it makes
sense to me.
sense. Yeah.
My mum seems like a very green person.
Yes, I agree
Even
entirely.
though, yeah, yeah. Anyway.
In a nice way. That sounds like she's a swamp lady. No. Um, I mean, green is one of my, if not my
I
favorite
think
color.
green is my favourite colour.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have saved that for the Out of the Saucer Cat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What's your favourite
Anyway,
colour?
so yeah, so my mum sees words like not on the
Right.
page, but in her
Yeah,
mind
yeah,
in color. Like
yeah.
she can't help it. So I think that's probably why she finds it
That's a
so
good
much
point,
easier.
actually.
Yeah. But anyway, I think she would remember this. It was really fun. It was really fun to actually do it in real life, and it
Yeah,
means something. You know, we were working towards a goal. It was so
yeah.
cool.
Can we also just say 7 bottles? 7.
Yes.
Ding, ding,
Ding.
ding. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought as well, Hermione makes a really good point in the book. So I just thought I'd read what she says. Brilliant, said Hermione. This isn't magic, it's logic, a puzzle. A lot of the greatest wizards haven't got an ounce of logic. They'd be stuck in here forever. So I think that's really cool that she points out that, like, yeah, all the magic in the world can only get you so far if you're not smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
Um,
not even smart, but just like,
yeah, I guess
just, I think there's a difference between smart and like
just
kind of common, like deduction,
common sense.
I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah. You don't have to be good at school to be logical.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So Hermione works out the riddle, and Harry just stands there awkwardly. Um,
As he often does.
that would be me. That would absolutely be me.
Yeah.
And she works out that the smallest one will get them through the last room, and a big round bottle at the end of the line will get them back through to Ron. So I just thought I'd read again from the book because it's a lot nicer to hear it from the book than from me. um,
We didn't write Harry Potter, so.
yeah. I'll let J.K. Rowling speak for herself. You drink that, said Harry. No, listen. Get back. Get Ron. Grab brooms from the flying key room. They'll get you out of the trap door and past Fluffy. Go straight to the owlery and send Hedwig to Dumbledore. We need him. I might be able to hold Snape off for a while, but I'm no match for him, really. Which, like, this is where Harry really shines. Like,
Yeah.
this is forward thinking, good
Yeah.
planning.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Well,
means
I mean,
nothing, but because Dumbledore is already coming back. Spoilers.
yeah. Yeah. Spoilers. Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's a
still
bit
a good
dumb.
idea.
It's very like Gryffindor, brave but
Yeah,
dumb.
like let's just get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that kind of gritty, let's just grit your teeth and do it.
Yeah.
I really like that in the movie, Hermione's like immediate, like, yes, Harry, you can do it. Like, immediately gets on her like inspirational speech. But in the book,
Yeah.
she's like not confident at all. She's like, but Harry, what if you know who's with him? And she's like really worried. But she does eventually give her like little speech.
Pep talk.
Yeah. And Harry says, well, I was lucky once, wasn't I? I might get lucky again. Which, like, Harry is a seer, everyone.
Yeah.
I completely subscribe to the theory that Harry is just an accidental seer. Because he seems to predict everything.
How many times has he like come face to face with Voldemort? 4.
So, Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, I guess technically Chamber of Secrets.
Is Chamber of Secrets really, though?
I would
guess
say no,
so.
because it's just a Horcrux.
Yeah. It's not
So
actually, I mean, it's
just a chunk of him.
a chunk. It's just a piece of flesh talking on the floor. Lovely.
So like 4, right?
So yeah, hang on.
When he's a
Philosopher's
baby, first
Stone.
year,
Oh yeah, when he's a baby,
4th year.
first year, 4th year.
Oh, I guess 5th year, kind of.
Yeah, 5th year. He sees him in the flesh.
Yeah, and then
And
Battle of Hogwarts, so 5.
yeah. Does he not see him in what happens in the 6th one at the end?
It's the... Oh, well, I guess kind of, but
Oh, it's
spoilers.
spoilers. Dumbledore dies.
Yeah, but
It's
like you're
Dumbledore's death.
actually like battling him like 5.
Yeah, it's more Snape really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, probably 5-ish.
Yeah. Ish. We're not sure. We'll find
Yeah.
out.
I mean, can you really count when he's a baby as well? Like he doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
That's probably the most important time that he faced him.
All the time he like defeats him.
Well, yeah.
Both quite important.
Quite important. But like if he
Yeah.
didn't like quote quote defeat him when he was a baby, then he wouldn't even be alive to do the thing
That's true.
in the
That's true.
the 7th one. See, I'm not all I don't know where that was going. I'm not as green as I'm cabbage looking.
What?
Have you never heard of that phrase?
No.
It's
I'm not
like
as green as I'm cabbage looking.
yeah, I can't like should I look it up what it means?
Sure, I've never heard that phrase before in my life.
Like it means like I'm not as stupid as I look.
Right.
But I can't quite I'm not as green as I'm cabbage looking. I can't like I'm really bad at explaining this particular one because it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
The expression is usually a way for a person to declare he isn't as easily fooled as another person might think.
Okay.
Green here means naive or foolish, and cabbage looking is from an old comparison of the head of a cabbage, it being roughly the same size and shape of a head. Cabbage and cabbage head have long been slang terms for a dull-witted, stupid, or naive person, and of course they're green.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. All right.
There we go.
Good to know.
Bit of English folklore for you. Write about that in your next English essay.
Yeah. So educational. Covering all bases.
So I thought this was a really cute moment as well. Harry in the book says, "Here I come," and he drains the little bottle in one gulp. And he goes through the flames to face Snape.
Snape. I feel like that would have been a really good cinematic moment if they had kept that scene in, that little...
Yeah, Harry just taking the potion, going through the fire, like that would be really cool visual of him going through the fire as well.
Yeah.
Being like, okay. And then like you can like imagine that he's imagining Snape and it's like then it turns round and it's actually Quirrell. It like looks Snape from the back, but then the person turns around and it like through editing changes it to Quirrell. That would be cool.
I just realised as well, they kind of keep in the like fire thing in the films with Quirrell making the flames around.
Yeah,
so, like, he
that's
can't
true.
leave.
Yeah, it's kind of
the concept of it.
Yeah.
Without
a nod.
actually. Yeah, a nod. Nice. Nice.
I'm nodding.
a head jut, as Hermione would say. Okay, but yes, as we've said, it wasn't Snape. It wasn't even Voldemort. It was Elizabeth has written Squirrel.
It's because when I was writing this, my computer was so adamant that I was meant to be writing Squirrel that I just had to leave it.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Yeah. I mean, is Quirrell just squirrel without the S?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
I mean, there's an extra L on Quirrell, so technically no, but
it's
literally the same, just with one L on the end.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
I wonder
now I'm...
I wonder if that's why J.K. Rowling called him Quirrell.
Because it sounds like squirrel.
Yeah. And squirrels are kind of like, whenever they see a
Nervous.
human there, they
Yeah.
go straight
Jumpy.
away. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Sorry.
Do you have Peeves in your home? Lucy keeps turning round and looking at her bedroom door.
I keep thinking that...
Hearing mysterious thuds.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they have a very similar conversation in both the book and the film, with multiple lines taken
You
from
got
the
me
book.
monologuing! Sorry.
And without Quirrell stuttering. He explains that he was the one who tried to knock Harry off the broom and that Snape was actually trying to save Harry.
What?
Snape was trying to save me.
No, dear boy. I tried to kill you.
So...
You again.
Oh, sorry. My nose is streaming.
You should do I always roll up tissue and just shove it up my nostril.
Like a nose tampon.
Yeah. Walrus.
Then, movie Quirrell stops Harry from escaping by lighting the room with fire, as we've said, which I now realise is probably a nod to that part in the books.
Yeah, I love that bit.
In the book, Quirrell magically ties up Harry with ropes. I think I prefer the film, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so so dramatic,
and more dynamic. Like, it allows him to continue to move around.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Like, visually, that's a lot better.
Yeah. I don't know how they would have done that as well. Because in the book it's described as ropes coming out of thin air.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that might be easy enough, but
I suppose you could just do it with a cut.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
You know. But yeah, I think it would have looked a bit cheesy.
Yeah, and the visual of the flames is a lot nicer as well, as you say.
Yeah, definitely. Harry tries to get Quirrell to keep talking to distract him from finding the secret behind getting the stone out of the mirror.
And what's the best thing about all villains? They love to talk.
Yeah, exactly. He finds out the truth behind many of the strange things that have happened that year. Quirrell says, "He is with me wherever I go," Quirrell said quietly. "I met him when I travelled around the world, a foolish young man I was then, full of ridiculous ideas about good and evil. Lord Voldemort showed me how wrong I was. There is no good and evil, there is only power, and those too weak to seek it." Very interesting that he gets the line and not Voldemort.
What do you mean?
In the film. In the film, Voldemort says it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. I completely
and that's the
forgot
line.
That. Yeah, that is a really
Did you know?
important line.
A little fun Lucy trivia fact for you. In year 7, I was set a philosophy and ethics essay on that quote from Harry Potter. There is no good and evil, there is only power, and those too weak to seek it.
It is a really interesting idea.
Well, I was really annoyed. I was like, that's such a stupid quote. Why can't we get a better quote than that? That's such a bad Harry Potter quote of all the Harry Potter quotes, blah blah blah. But yeah, I only just noticed that time reading. Yeah, it's Quirrell who says that instead of Voldemort.
I really like that quote. It's really an interesting concept.
I don't really like it, to be honest.
What do you like about it?
Well, I mean, I like it as a thing that Voldemort or a Death Eater would say. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't agree with
no,
it.
No, yeah, of course. But I feel like it's a bit... I don't know. I just feel like it's not really as... I couldn't write an essay. When I was set to write an essay on it, I was like, I mean, what?
It's you can write an essay on Dumbledore, but not...
Yeah, or the one I wish we had was, at the time, I wish we'd had the one that Sirius says, where he's like, the world isn't split into good people and Death Eaters. We all have both light and dark inside of us.
Yeah. Now that is a good point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then Quirrell waffles on for a bit and then says, When I failed to steal the stone from Gringotts, he was most displeased. He punished me, decided he would have to keep a closer watch on me. Ooh.
I remember this gives me
cool.
flashbacks from one of our earlier episodes when we were like, what happened with Quirrell and like Voldemort? When did they like become Quirrellmort?
Yeah, become Quirrell.
And now we know.
Yeah.
This is why it's good to do a reread.
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 Reread. Yes, indeed. So Harry realises that I need to think of a best way to begin each bullet point than just saying so.
I do that all the time, though.
Harry realises that he would be able to find the stone because that's the thing he wants the most in that very moment. Which, good thinking, Harry. Good thinking.
I didn't know the Mirror of Eris had changed so quickly and so easily, but I guess like Harry's like, well, if Voldemort has a stone, like my parents don't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
I might really go and see them if Voldemort has the stone.
I'll get my greatest desire. Yeah, exactly. I think that's interesting, the concept of it being so flexible. I feel like something like a boggart is quite fixed.
Yeah, your greatest fear, I'm not sure if that would...
Whereas your greatest desire...
Yeah, it's like Entangled, like when she's like, oh, what's going to happen when I find out, I see them and my dream is fulfilled. And he said, well, you'll just have to find a new dream.
Yeah. It reminds me, this just popped into my head. Wow, I'm such a theatre kid. It reminds me of in like acting where you have a super objective and an objective. Like in each moment, each line, you have like a purpose for that.
Yeah,
and that changes
it's like when you watch a director
life.
work, and he's like telling them like, what's your motivation here?
Right, like what are you really saying?
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's not super relevant, but that's just what it made me think of.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good point.
Quirrell.
Good thing to say.
Quirrell asks his master, I wonder who that could be, for help, and he says, use the boy.
It is where you can really use your coldy voice.
My raspy coldy
Boldy.
Coldy Boldy. Just like in the film, Harry sees himself holding the stone, winking, and then putting it back into his pocket.
This bit makes me cringe so much when he winks.
Yeah, no, I hate it.
He gives him
really
like a
awkward.
sly wink. He's like, hey.
Yeah. It's like,
no.
But it's not like a, I've got you, like, haha. It's just
like a, like, take me for a drink after work kind of wink.
It makes me think, it's not.
It's an uncomfortable wink.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, if you tell it, I guess, to be fair on Daniel, if you tell a 12-year-old boy, just wink into the camera for us. They're like, what? I have to do what now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird. I feel like the wink was not necessary.
No. But... again, like in the book, you can just kind of imagine him doing it better, but in the film, like, what 12-year-old would do that naturally? Like, well,
yeah,
that's too big of an ask for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, that's too much. That's too far.
Yeah.
And then we see, Quirrellmort. Our favourite Harry Potter ship.
Yeah.
Forget about
stronger than Hermione.
Drury. We don't need Drury. We just need Quirrellmort.
Yeah.
Drury actually makes me really angry, but you know what we should do? We should do a
Drury
episodes on like. No, we absolutely should not do a
I was gonna say,
episode.
I was like,
we should do.
Lucy. I'm not sure whether that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's just us reading fan fiction.
That would be so awkward.
That would be awful. We should do one of our like themed episodes should be about like the relationships in the books, films, and we can just spend the whole time mostly ranting about Ginny. But
yes,
I feel like that would be an interesting, because I feel like a lot of the times when people are like, oh, I don't ship so and so and so and so, I'm like,
you would in the
you've
book.
only watched the films, haven't you? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because
Harry
some of
and Ginny is so bad.
Yeah. Well,
I think
save that
Harry
for the
and Cho
special.
actually work really well in the films, actually, as well.
Oh no. Oh, last night, was it last night? A couple of nights ago, we were watching the fifth film.
Oh no.
And that
Is
that
it really
kiss,
awkward, actually? I haven't watched it in a while.
I hate it. It's just the most uncomfortable thing, and their arms are just like hanging limply by their sides.
I was just about to say, like, the most annoying thing
horrific.
about that kiss is that they don't, like, touch each other at all, apart from their lips. Who does that? Like, when you kiss someone, you put your arms on their shoulder, you know,
or
you
like,
hug or something.
It's just so. I mean, I kind of love it because they are like just 15-year-olds, and like I feel like it's kind of supposed to be awkward.
Kiss. Well, it's Harry's first kiss.
Yeah. So, I just hate it. I hate it so much.
You know, I think Harry and Cho works a lot better in the. Well, I don't know. I think it.
You know what? I really like Cho, and I hate the Cho slander that I see everywhere. Everyone hates her, and I am so mad about it because she was like, it's like what Hermione says about everything she's like going through. Like her boyfriend, someone she was really close to, died.
Yeah.
Not even died, was murdered by a dark wizard, and no one believes that it happened. Anyway.
Yeah. And, you know, all of the stuff that she has to go through in the with Marietta.
Yeah. And then her mum's like gonna lose her job.
Yeah.
And that's just like what Harry knows, and Harry doesn't really know her. Like. Yeah. It makes me really angry when everyone hates her.
I really love Cho.
I feel like there's a lot of internalized misogyny from J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter fans is kind of channeled into a lot of the female characters, particularly Cho Chang.
We all have like biases that we find hard to let go of, and I think you know, we all have them against Molly Weasley at some point, and Cho is another one, another victim.
Fleur particularly, actually.
Pardon?
Fleur particularly.
Fleur as well.
I think is the major one.
I love Fleur.
I've it's got to the point where I've just like reinvented loads of the Harry Potter characters in my mind. I'm like, they're my favourite, and then I explain why they're my favourite, and people are like, that's not what that character is. When I was reading Harry Potter
the first time, I was hardcore Charry. Would that be with Cho and Harry? Charry shipper, like in the fifth one.
The alternative would be Ho, and I feel like Charry is definitely better.
Yeah. Oh dear. I obviously I didn't realise that Harry and Ginny would be a thing.
Right. That's true. It's so strange to me, the idea of someone reading the books and watching the movies like as they come out, because I just had them all at once.
So well, I had them all when I read them for the first time.
Oh right.
I just didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
Because I'd only watched the first four. So yeah, in the fifth one, I was like so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen? Like when are they gonna kiss? Like he likes her so much. And I was so sad when they broke up. I was like, oh, that's so depressing. Like they were such a nice, cute couple, and it's just because Cho is literally, it's just because she's sad, and it's really depressing. That's the reason. I mean, I think, you know, Harry is valid in saying that, well, it wasn't a good relationship because he has trauma from it, Cho has trauma from it, and he has all the answers, and he doesn't feel like he can talk about it yet. Especially with like the dead guy's ex-girlfriend.
The fact that the main link between them is their dead friend.
It's
kind
weird.
Of not the greatest basis for a relationship.
So I don't like blame Harry for breaking up with her, but I really loved that relationship. So I think that's a good idea to do a special episode. All in all, from that massive 10-minute tangent.
Okay. So then we have the first description of Voldemort, maybe?
I think so.
Or what? One of the first.
Yeah. The
It
first from,
says,
like, in Harry's head, I guess.
yeah. Harry had never seen anything so. Oh no, that's the wrong bit. I was reading Harry had never seen anything so beautiful and so sad. I was like, nope, that is
No,
not the right
that's
bit.
definitely not it.
Where there should have been a back to Quirrell's head, there was a face, the most terrible face Harry had ever seen. It was chalk white with glaring red eyes and slits for nostrils like a snake. Harry Potter, it whispered.
Sorry, you go.
Well, I feel like we can agree that the all versions of Voldemort are like just not quite right.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I love this version of Voldemort.
In this film.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a nose though, hasn't he?
Does he? Hold on.
I think so. Hang on, let me Google.
I'm gonna Google as well. I feel like he has like a really small nose.
Oh no, he's got a proper
he
nose.
does have a proper big nose. Oh, but when you see it in like profile, it's like flat.
Yeah, but it's a nose. That's a nose.
It's definitely a nose.
They're not slits. That's a nose.
Yeah.
Do you remember the like alternate I think it's come up on Google Images actually.
the concept art where it's like with the spiky teeth.
Or like the concept, it was like a model.
Yeah.
At the studio tour. That was terrifying.
Yeah, and not good either.
No.
Like they went from one extreme to the other.
Like this one he just looks like a normal guy with red eyes.
Yeah.
And like some scars. I really don't like it. I much prefer.
I think it's because I like the
not Dumbledore, Voldemort.
Yeah. I think I really like how the actor does it. I don't know who the actor is.
Why was he replaced?
Maybe he was too old or didn't want to do it, or I don't know. But yeah, I think his voice was amazing. And he was like, I just think he was really good. I don't have much else to say.
I personally am a hardcore Ralph Fiennes stan.
Oh yeah, I mean Ralph Fiennes is easily beats that Voldemort.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of this film, and even the second film as well, a lot of it was kind of like figuring out what was going on.
Yeah, and figuring out like who is Voldemort? Like, who do we want Voldemort to be?
My main issue is the nose.
Yeah.
And
I
like that he has red eyes, doesn't he?
Pardon?
In this film, I think he has red eyes in this film.
I don't think so.
Oh, no.
Do we need to look it up again?
They're kind of like browny, but in some lights they look a little bit red. I don't know.
Maybe it's just because of the fire.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, my main problem with Voldemort is that he doesn't have red eyes.
It's just a guy. Yeah.
Why?
I agree. And that's like a really big theme with Tom Riddle moving into Voldemort. Like you can see the flash of red. Like when he's with
it's just such a like I understand with Harry like he was allergic to contact. It's not that deep that he doesn't have
but
like
eyes. Doing it with like a flash of red is really easy, and then in the later ones I guess like you can even do it with CGI.
Yeah, or just make him red contacts.
Yeah,
just give him contacts. Just give him red contacts.
Maybe they tried it and it looked really goofy.
Well, but you could have. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I'm trying to play like films advocate.
Yeah. No, it's just it's the one thing, not the one thing, one of the many things about the films that I'm just like, why?
I just really like. I think the thing that I really like about the Philosopher's Stone Voldemort is his voice. Like when he's like bravery, you know, he's like really like snide. He sneers. He's very high pitched.
He is more like the book Voldemort.
Yeah,
for sure.
But Ralph Fiennes, I mean, come on.
I love his
He's
raspiness.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just want to say this. It took me like a good few. I used to be so scared of Philosopher's Stone Voldemort.
Yes.
I just simply would. I think it was probably dodgy CGI. Like, it wasn't that he was that scary, it was the, like, weird, like, his face kind of moved, like, different parts moved at different times.
Yeah, and I think they did really well with like I can't remember who the actor is for Quirrell, but he like moves his head like as the guy is
Right,
talking, like as if like Voldemort talking, like when you talk your head moves,
right.
and when Voldemort talks the back of
Quirrell's
Quirrell's
head
head
moves,
moves.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I,
really weird. I mean,
yeah,
when I
it really,
imagine it, I imagine there to be like no chin and just a face on the back of the head. Um,
yeah, yeah.
because like, and I'm
I think
like,
that's how I
how
imagine it
did
too.
a turban cover that up?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and when it's like I was saying about how you see the Quirrell's hair and it's like, did he have a beard? Like, his head is very
yeah,
clearly flat in the beginning of the
yeah,
movie, like the back of his head. I
yeah.
don't know. Well, I personally am not really a fan of this Voldemort,
I think they did
and
well with
what they
what they
had,
had. Yeah.
yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree.
And like as
Um,
well, like their target audience was 12, like around 12 years old, so I think maybe they were a bit worried about how scary it was as well.
I
Even though
think this
I
Voldemort's
was so
scarier.
I was so terrified. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, to be honest, like I've said though, I think it's the CGI that makes it
I think like
scary.
his face is like strangely shadowy as well,
Yeah,
like when he
which
like
again
crinkles
is
his face,
the
it
CGI
reminds me of
thing.
that bit in Lord of the Rings when Bilbo goes all evil.
Yeah,
I
I know, I know
always
exactly
jump at
what you
that
mean.
bit.
Yeah, yeah, me too. That really gets me. Mm. Well, I mean, in conclusion, you really like it. I don't,
Well,
but
like, yeah. I I
for
really
no,
like,
I
I don't
think
think it's a
for
good like representation of what's in the book, but I do like it. Yeah. But from
all
book
right,
to film comparison, Ray Fiennes easily wins.
yeah.
Like,
Apart from those red eyes, oh, that makes me so angry.
yeah. Yeah, I do agree with
Um,
you there. I mean, there probably is a good
Okie
reason. Well, I
dokie.
hope there is a really good
Oh, I bet
reason.
there's not. I bet they were just like, nah, nah,
Yeah.
nah. We're not doing contact in this film.
Yeah. Or they just kind of
Um,
did it in concept art. But it's like, even if it doesn't work in concept art, just try it with one scene. Just give us
yeah,
one scene.
yeah,
Show us that you tried.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
the conversation between Harry and Voldemort is extremely similar between the book and the film. In the book, when Harry tries to escape, Voldemort screams, "Seize him!" Whereas in the film, Voldemort says, "Kill him!"
I
So,
think
I
that's
mean,
so like in the film it's so dark. Like
yeah, kill
yeah.
him. Yeah,
Like in
like,
the book
whoa,
he's like, "Oh,
chill,
just try
Voldy.
and like hold
Just
him off."
grab
But in the book
him.
it's just
Yeah.
like straight to killing.
Just murder. Just
Yeah.
commit murder for me, mate. Yeah, that's how it's gonna go. In the book, when
I'm
Quirrell
just
feels the
imagining
pain,
Voldemort saying that, mate.
alright, mate, just grab
Just
grab the
do a quick
nipper.
Avada.
Yeah,
Why is he Australian?
I don't know. It was the mate. The mate threw me off. Um. So
Sorry, I
in
keep interrupting you.
that's okay. In the book, when Quirrell feels the pain from touching Harry, Voldemort carries on screaming, seize him," which doesn't happen in the film. In the film, it's implied that Quirrell only feels pain when Harry touches him with his hands,
I found that
because he
quite
doesn't
interesting.
hurt or crumble when he's trying to strangle him. And in the book, Quirrell feels pain whenever coming into direct contact with Harry's skin.
Yeah, yeah, that's weird. Like in the film, it has to be Harry touching Quirrell
Yeah, I feel like it was just a bit of a well, I want to say they just didn't think about it, but that seems like a weird thing
to not think
to not
about.
think about.
Yeah. I guess like they wanted it to be like a tense moment when Quirrell is trying to strangle him, and it feels
Yeah,
like he's gonna do it, and then
yeah.
Harry reaches and takes his hand. I don't know. I don't
Mm,
know.
I don't know. Um,
Things we'll never know.
yeah. In the book, Harry feels a needle sharp pain in his scar, but in the film, he doesn't show any sign of pain at all.
That
I
annoys
read that
me.
in the voice of Willy Wonka in Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory when they're on that boat. He's like, and it doesn't show any signs of stopping.
And the rowers keep on rowing.
Yeah.
I hated that bit when I was a kid. With the centipedes and
I actually rewatched it a couple days ago.
It's
and
so
I
weird.
was like, it can't be as bad as I remember. I was like, they literally decapitated chicken.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally a horror movie.
Yeah.
But I loved that film as a kid. Like, I really loved it.
I liked it, but I had to close my eyes at that bit.
I think it's probably the reason for all my I don't know,
your horror
all my
movie
problems come from that single scene. So yeah, Harry doesn't show any sign that he's feeling pain. This could be Daniel Radcliffe's awful acting.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it could be pain, but I thought it was just kind of like, oh, I'm pointing my wand as hard as I can. I'm trying to touch your face.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of that.
They just kind of ignore it in the film.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Like they can't explain it.
Yeah.
But
they kind
it really
of pick up
annoys
on the scar.
Yeah.
Thing at the beginning of the film, then ditch it.
Yeah. It's such a big thing in the fourth one. Like, I can touch you now, you know.
Yeah.
And then Harry is the one that hurts.
Right.
Is the only one that hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The little things get me.
In the book, when Quirrell touches Harry, his hands are, quote, burnt raw, red and shiny. Whereas in the film, he just straight up crumbles into stone.
I joke that the directors are really big fans of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say it's a proper little like Indiana Jones moment, isn't it?
It's a really cool visual.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say I prefer it in the film. Like it's more like cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The the raw red burnt thing is just a bit like
cringy to think about.
A bit much, like I don't know, a bit intense.
Yeah.
Harry.
I want to have a look at my Jim Kay version to see if they do that.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'll have a look at it as well. Actually, Harry straight up just murders Quirrell in the film. He just kills him. He's 11. He's 11 years old.
So shocked when I saw
murders him.
this. Yeah.
He just kills him. In the book, he does not do that.
No, because he's like 12.
Yeah.
And it's not as I guess it's not as easy. Like in the film, you could say like, oh, he didn't mean it. Like,
yeah, like he did just. Well, I was going to say he did just touch him, but he did. Then also.
He did, knowing that it was going to crumble him into stone.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, he knows that it's not going to do much apart from like burn him. Yeah. It's so weird.
It's very strange. In the film, Quirrell says, "What is this magic?" And Voldemort says, "Fool, get the stone." Is it not stone? I always thought it was stone. Get the stone.
No, he says, "Fool, get the stone."
Interesting. This is the problem with Voldemort's weird accent in the first. His weird voice.
I love it.
Wow, I always thought it was stone, get the stone. And so then Harry grabs Quirrell's face and makes him crumble into stone, as we've said, and kills him. In the book, Quirrell says, "Master, I cannot hold him. My hands. And Voldemort says, "Then kill him, fool, and be done." Quirrell gets ready to, quote, perform a deadly curse. What?
I love that you just go into your normal voice. Then kill him, fool, and be done.
I quite like, we always talk about sassy Harry. Sassy Voldemort is underrated. Then kill him, fool. And Harry, before Harry can... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, like, as a side note, in the book, it always makes me laugh so much when it says, and Harry, by instinct, reached up and grabbed Quirrell's face. I don't know why, but like the idea of like someone grabbing your face, like a
Yeah.
face is not something that you
You
usually grab. It's so funny.
It's very strange. So yeah, Harry grabs his face in the book as well, but because in the book it only causes blistering, it doesn't kill Quirrell. It just causes him pretty bad pain.
You should take some paracetamol.
Yeah, that would help. Ibuprofen probably. In my mind, ibuprofen is like stronger, but I don't know if that's actually true.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just take paracetamol whenever it's like a little bit of pain, and then ibuprofen when it's a lot of bit of pain.
I don't ever take ibuprofen because apparently it messes with asthma.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not. You can take it when you have asthma, but
yeah,
it's not like don't just take it when.
Yeah. Okie dokes. So then this is kind of the end of the showdown. It says Harry jumped to his feet, caught Quirrell by the arm, and hung on as tight as he could. Quirrell screamed and tried to throw Harry off.
I have a question for you. Is Quirrell wearing short sleeves? Because then, like, why does he feel so much pain when Harry clings onto his arm? Like, is he in a tank top?
Good point.
I thought he was in robes.
Well, I suppose maybe
he has like his shirt like rolled up.
Yeah, well, he's in like robes, isn't he? And I always imagine him to have quite flowy arms. So maybe while he's been trying to cast the curse, it's kind of like flown upwards a little bit. So it's.
I can get behind that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I like to imagine things and it really distracts me when I can't imagine it properly.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I hadn't thought about that. The pain in Harry's head was building. He couldn't see. He could only hear Quirrell's terrible shrieks and Voldemort's yells of "Kill him! Kill him!" and other voices
sounds like
maybe in
Mrs.
Harry's
Fig.
own head, crying, "Harry! Harry!" He felt Quirrell's arm wrenched from his grasp and knew all was lost and fell into blackness, down, down, down.
Down, down, down to the bottom of the sea, where you'll meet SpongeBob and his snail Gary.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a closet SpongeBob nerd. I used to be in the SpongeBob fandom for sure, before fandoms existed.
Interesting. Okay.
Carry on.
So yeah, this little ending bit is demonstrating another difference, which is that there is no Voldemort spirit flying through Harry's chest, like in the film.
How do you feel about that bit in the film?
I kind of like that it visualizes that, like, Voldemort's still around.
Yes.
Like, he's not dead, but
he's looking for another body.
But I don't like the fact that in the like movie canon, that's what Voldemort looks like when he's like swarming around looking like.
I never thought of that.
Like when he's in the Albanian forest or wherever he is, like I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I always feel like he's this kind of is sentient the right word? Like this shapeless, formless being.
Yeah.
I don't think sentient is the right word for that.
No.
But yeah, like formless.
No, sentient just means like conscious.
Oh, okay.
So I guess so. Yeah, no, like I don't imagine you being able to like see him.
Yeah, no, because I don't imagine a soul is something that a living, breathing mortal,
right,
a mortal could see,
comprehend almost.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even know if souls exist, so why would we be able to see them?
Right, exactly. Like if you could see a soul. Like if someone died, they would just be like, "Whoa!" You know?
Bye, guy.
Yeah. So yeah,
I never
like
thought
it.
of that. That's a really good point. Maybe he just like that was kind of like Voldemort, like his last attack, and then he goes into more of a spirit form.
I suppose. I don't like it.
Just concentrate on the books.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that bit. So then, after this whole ordeal, Harry wakes up in the hospital wing to Dumbledore sat on his bed or next to him. I'm not sure which. By him, either way. And later on, Dumbledore explains that Voldemort left Quirrell to die. So I suppose Harry kind of does. Well, I guess maybe the book insinuates more that it's like it was Voldemort leaving him that killed him because
I think like Voldemort
drained his life source.
It says before, or it says sometime in the book series, doesn't it, that when he inhabits someone or something, he's like
draining its
life force. So with Quirrell, I guess like I don't know why that would kill him though. Maybe if he leaves, like it's just killing him faster. I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? I wish there was more explanation there.
Yeah, I suppose it could just be Harry again. Back at it again, murdering people as you do.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, you can die from burns, but it is quite rare. Like
magical.
I guess so. Yeah.
Love burns.
Love burns.
I'm not saying that again.
Episode title.
Love burns. Everybody hurts. I don't know why that.
Ooh, pain is so close to pleasure. Love burns.
Then we have the incredible line that is, what happened down in the dungeons between you and Professor Quirrell is a complete secret. So, naturally, the whole school knows. Which is
my gosh.
Directly from the book, put in the film. It's just the perfect quote to sum up secondary school.
Yeah, I can't not at least read this in Richard Harris's voice. Like, he delivers every line perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love him as Dumbledore.
He is perfect Dumbledore.
He has that kind of twinkle in his eye. Like, you know he's old, but you kind of feel like you have something left in you. You know?
Yeah.
He's just so
I kind
perfect.
of hate Dumbledore, but he makes me like him more.
Yeah. I love and hate Dumbledore. I think he's a really good, well-rounded character. Like, very flawed.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, and much better than Snape. Like, even though maybe Dumbledore has probably done worse things than Snape, or at least thought about doing worse things than Snape.
Right.
Snape somehow, for me, because he doesn't redeem himself ever.
Lettuce.
Yeah. Like, he only redeems himself right at the last second by dying, and that's only because Voldemort killed him anyway, so it wasn't really his sacrifice.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I don't want to turn this into yet another Snape bash. But Dumbledore is a funny one, but I agree that Richard Harris makes it
more
easier.
likeable.
Yeah.
Dumbledore then also adds that I believe your friends Misters Fred and George Weasley were responsible for trying to send you a lavatory seat. No doubt they thought it would amuse you. That's in the book. Is this? They say at the beginning of the book, don't you? Like, don't they, like, oh, Ginny will send you a toilet seat?
I think Mrs. Weasley says, like, don't go sending me back a toilet suite. And they like, don't put ideas in our head, Mum, or something.
Okay, yeah.
I can just imagine Mrs. Weasley on the way home like, oh, bonehead. Why did I say that?
I love in the last couple of weeks I've just decided that the Weasley twins are my favourite characters. And I love how kind of older brotherly they are to Harry throughout the series.
They completely take him in.
Yeah, it's so sweet. I just love them. They're
really good role models, I think, as well.
Yeah.
They're good role models in that, like, you can do well in school, but
Yeah,
it's not all that matters.
yeah,
Like, if
yeah,
you think you can excel and you know that you can excel even
yeah,
outside of school, just like do it. Go
yeah,
for it. Unless you're not sure, then stay in school.
yeah,
Stay in school, otherwise, like, yeah, stay in school,
yeah,
skills for kids.
absolutely.
But
Um,
yeah, I think they're a really good example of success without academia.
yeah. Speaking of Dumbledore and whether we hate him or not, in the book it's a lot more obvious that Dumbledore wants Harry to understand that Harry was a lot more important than the Philosopher's Stone.
Hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter that the stone has been destroyed, like, as long as Harry's okay.
Yeah.
Which obviously is good. Um,
Well,
duh.
but it's like he only wants Harry alive until the opportune moment.
Right, right. This is the thing. It's like, oh
Does he
yeah, I really
actually
care about
care
you
about
so that you
Harry?
can die
This
in a
is the
few years.
mysterious thing about Dumbledore. It's like we will never know whether he might actually care,
Yeah.
but he is kind of raising him as a lamb to slaughter.
Mm. You're a brace. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Potter is a
Um,
boy, not a piece of meat.
in the book, Dumbledore says, "Oh, you know about Nicholas," said Dumbledore, sounding quite delighted. "You did do the thing properly, didn't you?" Which is,
I love how proud he is of
yeah, that they've, like, broken rules and, like, figured things out that they shouldn't
I'm
have
proud of you,
found
son.
out. Yeah,
Breaking
yeah,
about 50
exactly.
school rules.
Exactly. And then uh, a really famous Dumbledore quote is in this section of the book that didn't make it into the film. And that quote is, "To the well-organised mind, death is but the next great adventure." Which, as someone who doesn't believe in afterlife, would always
Oh,
really
don't
confuse
you?
me. I was
That's
like,
interesting.
no, you just die.
And then
Um,
nothing.
yeah, like, it's not an adventure, bro. You're just dead. Um,
I just like
but
I can see that as a potential happening, but it's hard for me to imagine nothingness. Like that's
no,
such a
it's
strange concept.
it. Oh, I think about this so much. The idea that
Yeah,
one day I will just cease to exist.
it's
I
strange.
mean, you can't comprehend it because you've
Yeah.
obviously never experienced. Well, I
Oh
guess
yeah.
technically you have, but you have no memory of it, obviously, because you
Yeah.
just simply
To
didn't
you've
exist.
always existed because it's your life, like.
Right, right. Yeah, but I think that's quite a sweet. I mean, I guess particularly for people who are, religious or spiritual, who believe that when you die it's just another adventure. I think it's
Yeah, and I
a
think
nice
even if
quote.
you don't believe that, like if you believe that nothing
Yeah.
happens, like it's like a coping mechanism, isn't it? Like
Mm.
so many people are afraid of death. It's like life's biggest question is death and what's
Yeah.
going to happen. And a lot of people have like a fear of death. I think it's just nice to say like, well, it's just
It's, oh my
another
gosh,
chapter.
I was about to be like, oh, there's that quote, and then I realised I think it's a Twilight quote. It's like, that's like, oh, did people think death is hard, but like living is harder or something?
Well, but
Which is
it's
like
kind of
hilarious, but
true.
kind of, yeah, true, because when you're
Yeah.
dead, from my view at least,
Well,
I mean,
from
you're
any
dead.
view, unless you think you're going to some kind of fiery furnace.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't
Yeah, it's either nothing or
personally, I don't
it's
believe in a hell, and I don't know a lot of people that do believe in like a
mm,
really like
like a.
hellfire kind of
Yeah.
hell. It's
Yeah.
just either nice or it's nothing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but who knows?
Who knows? No one.
No
That's what's
one. You
terrifying.
literally
You
cannot
know what I
know.
find really interesting is the whole argument of like people who have uh, died in. I'm doing air quotes as I say that.
Like
Like
have
their heart has
near-death
stopped and they
experiences.
have like been to heaven. But then it's like, well, did you
Was that
see
just
that because
a
that's what you
hallucination?
expected to see?
Yeah. I find it
You
strange
know?
when people kind of like have an out of body experience and they
Mm,
kind of see the scene before them as if they're watching a film. Oh,
yeah,
that's weird.
yeah, yeah. yeah.
Death is just strange, isn't it?
I can't wrap my head around the idea of nothing. It's just
That's
crazy.
why, like, maybe it's just because I prefer not to think about it, but that's why I
Yeah.
don't think about it, because I'm like, well, I just like I imagine that there's an afterlife because it makes me feel a lot more
Feel
like
better.
it makes me feel a lot better. But I
Yeah.
know that I heard this quote the other day that is really prevalent here. It's from Neil deGrasse Tyson, and it says, "One of the great challenges in life is knowing enough to think you are right, but not knowing enough to know you are wrong."
Mm,
Because it's like,
that's really
you think that
interesting.
there's nothing, but you don't know that there's nothing.
Yeah.
I think that there's something, but I don't know that there's something.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm probably wrong about my theory about what's going to happen because I haven't died.
Right.
Surprise, surprise, I'm not a
Yeah.
corpse.
Yeah, and this is the thing, I feel very like confidently in what I think about it, but I'll never know. And
Yeah.
even when I'm dead, I will know if I'm wrong, but I'll never know if I'm right, because if I'm right, I'll just be dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It is
It
crazy.
it baffles me.
Yeah.
I can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Dude, no edge.
So in the films,
Oh yeah, Harry
they
Potter, right.
yeah, as we were saying, there's this moment where Harry corrects himself and says "you know who" instead of Voldemort, and Dumbledore says, in the book, fear of a name increases fear of the thing itself, and in the films they give Hermione this line in the second film, and I actually was looking through my copy of Chamber of Secrets like a while ago, because I was convinced that she says it in the book
Actually
too.
says it in the books.
But does she say it in the books?
I don't know
See,
actually. That's a good
I'm
point.
pretty sure she doesn't, and if she does, it's not the same place, because I was looking through that bit of Flourish and Blots,
Yeah.
and she doesn't say it, which is weird, because I like remember reading it, but it's
Yeah.
probably just because I'd seen it in the film and kind of like the two had merged. I think it's interesting that they would give it to Hermione. I wonder where, because she says, doesn't she? Dumbledore
Fear of
says
a
fear of the
name
name
only what
increases
is it?
fear of the thing
Only
itself.
increases. Yeah, she says it to Lucius.
Yeah,
Um,
in Flourish and Blots.
yeah, but I don't think she says it to Dumbledore.
Does
I
she
don't
not
think she
say
says, "Oh, Dumbledore said this."
that maybe that's just again me like merging the two?
Well, there was a bit. I think like what you might be thinking is after they go and do the detention in the forest, and Hermione is like, "Oh, Dumbledore is the, maybe it's that bit."
Maybe,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. In the book, Harry asks Dumbledore, "Why would Voldemort want to kill me in the first place?" Which Dumbledore he just doesn't answer him, just
Yeah.
straight up. He doesn't ignore him, but it's like, you know what? You don't need to know that right about now. I'm just not gonna tell you.
Yeah, and he says it's like love, but I'm not sure. I think he's just
Yeah.
like, I can't tell a 12-year-old
Yeah,
this.
no, when I was younger, I was like, why doesn't he tell Harry? It's so annoying. And now, I'm like, okay,
That's a
I
really
wouldn't
terrible
tell
position to be in.
a 11-year-old. Oh well, let me give you an explanation.
Yeah.
Basically, no,
But yeah,
like,
keep saying 12.
basically,
He's 11 here, isn't he?
yeah. He's a few months off
Yeah.
12, but yeah, he's 11. And this is where it's explained that Snape hates James Potter so much because James saved Snape's life, and therefore Snape is forever in the debt of one of his most horrible bullies, which I always forget until recently when I've really got into the Marauders fandom. And I'm pretty sure this is just never mentioned or
Yeah.
kind of explained in the films.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, really? People who, sorry, people who haven't read the books don't know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, it just is. It feels like one of those like staple things that everyone should know.
Yeah. Should we explain what exactly happens, or should we just?
I mean, I think you could explain it briefly, yeah.
Okay.
Not in
I might
detail.
I might get it a bit wrong, so if I get it wrong, correct me.
I'll
But
correct you.
as far
Okay.
as I remember, so obviously, as we know, Lupin goes into the Shrieking Shack for his time of the month. And Sirius one time thinks it would be really funny to tell Snape. Oh, why does he tell Snape to go in there?
He
What is his fake like excuse? How does he get him to go in there?
oh, I think because he knows how much Snape hates him. But I don't know what he says to Snape, like, oh,
Right, to get
um
Lupin's, yeah.
I don't
Anyway,
know, I can't
somehow,
remember, but
I think we'll probably get to that at some point,
yeah.
but basically he convinces Snape to go into the Shrieking Shack where Lupin is a werewolf because he thinks it would be funny, and obviously this is not a good idea, that's really stupid.
Yeah, really
And
dangerous.
James finds out and goes and like saves him, basically. Literally saves him in that moment, saves his life.
I think like Snape's
And
about to go into the hole under the
Whomping
tree,
Willow. Yeah.
and James drags him out or something.
Drags him out, yeah. And so, yeah, so Snape's always in debt to him, and he will never be able to pay it back because he's dead now. Spoilers.
Yeah. I really like you can read if you want to read it. I really like what I should have included it. What Dumbledore says in response to Harry like being like, "What? Why would he like hate him because of that?" And it says like, "Yes," said Dumbledore dreamily. "Funny the way people's minds work, isn't it?"
That's a nice quote as well, actually. I
Yeah.
like that
The
one.
whole paragraph is really good. I don't know if you wanted to read it, or if I should just read it.
I mean, if you've got it,
I've got it right here, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it says, "Yes," said Dumbledore dreamily. "Funny the way people's minds work, isn't it? Professor Snape couldn't bear being in your father's debt. I do believe he worked so hard to protect you this year because he felt that would make him and your father quits. Then he could go back to hating your father's memory in peace." Then it says, "Harry tried to understand this, but it made his head pound, so he stopped." And I'm like, all of Harry Potter. This is all of Harry. Harry tried to understand, but it made his head pound, so he stopped.
And then
Sorry, Harry.
To finish off, we have, alas, earwax, which is taken straight from the book, exactly the same.
I had, before doing this, I was convinced that it was just in the film. I'm delighted that it's in the book.
Yeah. It's a good line. Alrighty, well, let's have a quick look over the Marauders map for today. It's just one thing, and that is the hospital wing. Have we had the hospital wing before?
I don't think so. I don't think we've talked about it, at least.
Okay. So the hospital wing is the divinity school in Oxford. I mean, as with most of Hogwarts, it's it's fine, it's great, it's an old like university building, so it's fine.
It's pretty cool. It's the same bit as the entrance hall, I believe, when McGonagall. I think that's the same little like building.
Yes.
I think so. But it's really cool to sit in there and is that I've just had a thought. Is that the same bit when they learn how to dance with McGonagall? Do they use the same section?
I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll find out when we get to that point.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But yeah, I remember going there on mine and Roman's little date tour around I was about to say Hogsmeade, around Oxford, and there were like a whole bunch of people wearing Harry Potter merch. It was quite nice.
Yeah.
And there was one person like there for the history.
Oh, I feel bad for them because they must have been very annoyed by all the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, film locations, films are important.
Yeah. That's a part of history.
Yeah. Harry Potter is definitely a part of history.
Yeah. My history. Yeah.
All right. So, that concludes this episode of Potterwatch from page to screen.
Keep twiddling those dials. Keep each other safe. Keep faith. Good night.
Scratch that in editing.
Scratch that last.
Yeah. The next one is the last one, and I'm excited to do the last one.